This is WIUR Radio.
We are back. It has been a year. It's been a couple months, but we are back with the One and Done Radio Show. I'm glad to be back, and I missed this. It's been a while. I'm just here to talk sports, have a good time. I really enjoy this, so we're back. But we're not talking NBA this time because it's the off season and there's nothing to talk about. So we're talking about football. We're making a pivot. We're going to football. It's just getting started. It's week 3. Week 4 starts tonight, and I can't wait. I'm not gonna be working, so I'm actually gonna be able to watch the game for once. But as the title says, it's fantasy football edition. So we're gonna be talking about my fantasy football team. I'm in a 12-man league, PPR. It's $100 buy-in. So for me, that's too much money for that. So I like my team. I'm 2-1, as you guys can see by the thumbnail. It's Jonathan Taylor. That guy is carrying my team. RB1 on the season so far. I have so my team is it's simple. I feel like I drafted pretty well. Some sleepers. I have Drake May, Trey Benson, Jonathan Taylor, Keenan Allen, Nico Collins, Harold Fannin, Amarian Hampton. On my bench, I have George Pickens, Tony Pollard, Dak Prescott, Rasheed Rice. I have Troy Franklin. I have George Kittle on the IR. I think I drafted pretty well. I got a little hindered with George Kittle being out for the first 4 weeks, if not first 5 weeks. But I like my odds. I'm 2-1. I am projected third for the power rankings, even though I started the season off projected ninth, eighth. Yeah, I was projected eighth. I went up to 3. It's been a tough year. There's been a lot of injuries. The RB position has been looking real slim. Every team in the league has like 2 running backs, if not many good RBs who are startable. So I'm kind of glad I have, I would say, 4 in Trey Benson taking over the role for James Conner for the whole season. Hopefully he's this year's Chase Brown, league winner. I need that. So with this league, I played 2 years ago and I did terrible actually. I came in last place. So good thing there's no punishment because I don't really know the people. It's just like a couple of my friends and then like his cousins. But this year was the redemption year. I was not coming in last place, and hopefully, nothing goes bad, and we hopefully win the league, win the prize pool. But I kind of want to talk about how the season's gonna turn out. It looks to be that running backs are gonna be what's the word? I can't think of the word. The running backs are high. There's a premium. That's the word. The running backs are a premium. There's a couple running backs who are overperforming or just performing to what they would be. Christian McCaffrey looks like Christian McCaffrey. He's healthy, highest floor in this on the league. And Christian McCaffrey bad game is 20 points. I think guys like that are at a premium. Jonathan Taylor looks really good. Bijan has a high floor. Derrick Henry is washed. Sad to say, our goat is washed. Jahmyr Gibbs, James Cook looks like an RB3 on the season. Highly efficient, scores touchdowns. The touchdowns are not going anywhere with this Bills offense. I think that receivers were really deep this year, like in the drafts when it got to the 4th, 5th, 6th round. It was all mainly receivers. All of our RBs went high in our league. The first 2 rounds, the first couple of picks in the second round, usually it's like split. No, it was all RBs. There was people reaching. There was people trying to get the RB1, RB2 for the season. Some have worked, some have not. Usually, in other leagues, James Cook went in the 3rd round. He went high second. And the first 7 picks of the second round were all RBs. So they really came out of premium in this league. And if you got one who's healthy, who's hot, who's able to produce, your team is looking good. But a lot of teams don't have that. They have mainly receivers, they have elite quarterbacks, they have the stuff. I think that honestly, I like my team. I like my odds. I feel like my receivers have broken out. Keenan Allen, surprise ceiling or floor for Keenan Allen. Justin Herbert likes him. He's a great red zone threat. He gets his catches. He's 18 points on the season, wide receiver 6. It's only 3 weeks, so it's all with a grain of salt. Anything could happen. Any injury, any just change in scheme on the offense could happen, but like the outlook on my season, Nico Collins, he's in the terrible Texas offense, but he is the wide receiver 1. He is getting majority of the target share. I like it. I like how it's looking out. Martin Hampton, he broke out last game. His Najee Harris is out for the season as well. It was crazy. Sunday was a great. I had George Pickens as well. I won the week, and not to just not because injuries aren't cool, but James Conner out for the season. I had his handcuff. Najee Harris out for the season. I have Amari Hampton. CeeDee Lamb out he's gonna be on IR probably. I have George Pickens. So it's just a great string of events for my fantasy team. I don't know if I should start George Pickens. I have Keenan Allen and Nico starting, and I have Trey Benson starting because I like watching players on Thursday night. So I don't want to bench a wide receiver 1, but Cowboys are playing the Packers, and the Packers are, if not the best defense in the league, top 3. So it's matchup dependent, but I don't know. I just feel like fantasy football is not about who team's gonna win. It's more about if you are gonna get targets, gonna catch balls, gonna catch touchdowns. That's all it is about. You don't have to win the game. You just gotta get volume. That's why I felt like drafting high volume players. Jonathan Taylor is if he's not 1, he's 2 in volume in the league. He's producing at a high level. The Colts, surprising team of the year, 3-0. Look like MVP Daniel Jones. Who would have thought at the start of the year that Daniel Jones is 3-0 and showing why he shouldn't have been traded, which is crazy. But I like the outlook on my season. I want to talk about some other teams in the league. The other teams in the league. So there's one guy his team. I won't say his name because his team's not looking too good. He's 0-3. Lamar Jackson. He has 2 running backs who shouldn't even be on a roster starting. Igbuka, Justin Jefferson, Brian Thomas, and Terry McLaurin. His bench is a bunch of nobodies. RJ Harvey's on his bench actually, but I think this team right here is 0-3, probably the worst team in the league. If this guy's watching, he needs to send. I have Tony Pollard to send him because I have too many RBs. So if he wants to take Tony Pollard, I would love to send it to him. I want to send him a live trade right now. See what he's doing. But forget about this team. I just want to bring this up that this guy has Pacheco and Jacory Krosky-Merritt as his starting RBs, and I'm trying to send him Tony Pollard, and he's not even thinking about it, even though he's 0-3 and has me and him starting at RB. But forget about that. I think I like the team. I have handcuffs. I have Dak and George Pickens stack. Rasheed Rice, when he comes back, is going to be a monster. The Chiefs' offense is looking really, it's like slim pickings with the wide receiver. It's kind of like free agent signings, just like last minute, like get in there. We need someone to catch the ball. It's not looking good. When Xavier Worthy, when Rasheed Rice come back, it's gonna be looking a lot different. The more down the field stuff is gonna come. The more over the crossers, the middle of the field stuff is gonna be more open. Rasheed Rice is gonna be the main target for that. Travis Kelce looks like he looks old. Like it's his last season. It's almost like it's like Kobe's last year. It's a retirement tour. But I think Rasheed Rice is a league winner. If you are watching and you're in a fantasy football trade for Rasheed Rice, I think he's gonna be like that. George Kittle too. George Kittle, top 3 tight end every year. catches touchdowns. Brock Purdy comes back around the same time he does, whatever his turf toe. I think that connection was sneakily underrated last year. He was tight end 1 in scoring last year, despite Brock Bowers having a generational rookie year. He still was number 1 off of the touchdowns and targets that he got from Brock Purdy. Despite, like, all the injury last year, them not even being a good team, them losing, they're going, like, 6-11. I don't know, 6-11. But I like the only thing I don't like really is my quarterback position, Drake May. He's been having a good start to this season, but I don't know. I don't really like just I don't wanna bank on him being good. His schedule towards the end of the year is also a little tough. Buffalo, Baltimore, the Jets. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with the quarterback position. I don't know if I'm gonna keep stringing him. Dak Prescott isn't looking too well either. He's not getting the touchdowns, the volume that we need. He's throwing the ball a lot. He's just not scoring a lot, which is not giving me the points that helps. He's not a rushing quarterback. I drafted Dak because I thought he would be throwing the ball 100 times and scoring 100 times, like almost like the Bengals last year. But you just got to realize that the Cowboys aren't the Bengals. They don't have the talent that the Bengals have, especially now with CD out for 4 weeks. It's looking rough. But besides the quarterback, I honestly think, I mean, this is probably biased, but I probably think I have the best team in the league. This other team that I think has the best team in the league, or the second, yeah, it's Caleb, Chuba Hubbard, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Rome, Devontae Smith, CeeDee Lamb, who just got hurt, Jordan Mason, Jalen Warren, Calvin Ridley on the bench. I think he's the deepest team in the league. I also think he has elite receivers. He has great depth. Like, the depth is like Jordan Mason, Jalen Warren, and Devontae Smith on your bench when CD comes back that's honestly just like plug and play. Whenever a matchup is more in favor, you just put whoever you want. And you honestly, I think I wish I had his depth. My depth is okay in terms of like I'm really not gonna change up the lineup too much. I think Keenan Allen's like high floor is something I want in my lineup every week until it just isn't. I'm trying to make a trade because I think I have too much depth for me to handle. I have Rasheed Rice, who when he comes back is going to be starting. He's a week to week starting every single week. I'm not benching him. I have Nico Collins. That's my wide receiver 1. I'm not benching him. My running backs, honestly, like Tony Pollard's got to go. Tony Pollard, if anyone from this league is watching, Tony Pollard, you can have him. He's not bad. He's just not going to start over my 3 RBs, Trey Benson, Taylor, and Hampton. I can't do it. It is on ESPN, so it's less. It's 1 flex. It's 2 wide receiver, 2 RB. It's 1 quarterback. I don't really know. If anyone has any recommendations, you can send it to me on what I should do. I don't know why this year for fantasy football, like I've been more excited about it. I've been more like into it. I feel like every week I'm like checking the waivers. I'm looking at, well, who should I pick up? What should happen? I want to win this. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's a redemption year, coming off of a down year, like a really down year, and then coming back up to like it's time to win. You research, you draft, mock drafts, do a whole bunch of those. That helped me. I feel like going into the draft, I felt most prepared I've ever had for a draft. It worked. I mean, I feel like my draft, despite barring injury, has been really good. Hopefully, we have the season we want, we're looking for. But honestly, despite that, I'm gonna do an ad break because I'm done with fantasy football. So just stay with that. Give me a second.
This is WIUR Radio.
Hi, I'm Morgan Beastie from the Ionian, and I hope you're enjoying today's show. Are you looking for the latest scoop on campus news, sports, and more? Check out the Ionian University's very own award-winning student newspaper. We keep you up to date with everything happening on and off campus. Want to know about the big game, the latest campus event? It's all in the Ionian. Join the conversation. Read, write, and get involved. Visit www.theionian.org or pick up a copy around campus. Stay informed, stay connected. Now, back to WIUR, Iona University Radio.
So yeah, the Ionian on campus. Join that if you want to. So going from fantasy football, we're going to fantasy basketball. Yeah, it's preseason, just a season of mock draft, season of just believing every report you see. You know how, media day happened for a couple teams yesterday. The Suns, the Pelicans. Zion looked good. And then so we're in our fantasy basketball league. We've had this for a couple of years. We actually bumped it up to 12 teams this year. And that means less stacked teams, more like role players on your team, more positional, more skill, more strategy based drafting, which is tough because a lot of guys who are in our league probably don't know too much about basketball. But hey, easy comp, whatever it is. I'm actually more nervous this year than anything because I don't have a strategy heading in. Because a high pick, you know who you're taking. A low pick, you got to really decide who to pick. This all leads up to the fact that Zion is looking good. Zion looks in shape. Zion looks healthy. Zion looks ready. The Pelicans look deep. They look ready to make a play-in run because I'm not saying they're making the playoffs. Too many good teams in the West. But Zion, when he was 2021, Zion was a problem in fantasy. So he hasn't really been in shape. He's been injured every single year, in and out. He's had flashes of being like that guy in fantasy, but I might be buying the hype. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's always a joke in our league that like who's gonna fall for it this year. Last year, I drafted Zion, but I traded him like the first day for Anthony Davis. A couple years ago, someone drafted Zion. I'm pretty sure he was out for like 90% of the year. So it's almost like who's falling for it this year. And depending on my pick, I might be the one. I fell for Joel Embiid last year. I drafted him, played like 30 games, wasn't even like the 40-point player I drafted him to be. But yeah, it's cool. You live, you learn. Who knows if I fall for it again? I might just fall for it again. In fantasy basketball, the thing is, it was never serious if you lost. It wasn't that much money buy-in. There was no punishment. This year, it's a $50 buy-in, I'm pretty sure. And loser does a fantasy punishment. We've never done that before, but we all know each other, so I feel like it'd make more sense if we did. So if you come in last place, you gotta, I think it's Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't know whatever it is, it's something. I think it's the hottest something. Whatever it is, I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna do it. I've never came in last place in fantasy basketball. I don't plan on doing it this year. I wish last year I came in second. I lost the championship game by like 30 points. Honestly, that guy was pretty good. He had when someone does too much, like he paid for like a betting app. Those like things that like give you the right picks, like the favorable matchup here, the favorable matchup there. He bought one of those, and for every pickup, he would check what's the favorable matchup for the night, and then he would pick them up, and they would favorable matchup. Oh, the Raptors let up 10% or more threes than the entire NBA. So draft the shooting guard. So draft the shoot or pick up the shooting guard from the team that's playing the Raptors. It's almost like it's like an unfair advantage, but I mean, he paid money, he won. However much money it was, probably wasn't much, but yeah, he's no longer in the league. He doesn't want to do 12 teams. He doesn't like the 12-team format because there's not enough players to pick up. So we got new blood in the league, some rookies. Can't wait to see how that works. This is year 6 of fantasy basketball. Hoping to make it things to when we get older. So it's all been in the same league too. So it's all the history. I do have a couple. I have one ring. I have a ring. That was my proudest year, fantasy basketball, winning, beating the odds. finally winning the championship. I hope to do that again this year. I hope I win. A year where you win fantasy basketball and fantasy football might be undefeated. That's like $2,000 just in your pocket off of fantasy. But who knows what happens? I don't. I gotta still do mock drafts. I gotta be prepared. But mock drafts help in terms of like you know what position like players come in at or like what their ADPs are. But in a league full of like it's like robots kind of. So a league full of humans who like either don't know basketball or know a lot more basketball than you do, it's gonna fluctuate. You're not gonna like say in fantasy basketball, it's different for our scoring. Every point, rebound, assist is a single point. Every miss. No, that's my bad. Every shot taken is a -1. So players who shoot a lot, who don't make a lot, kind of like high volume scoring guards aren't as valued because they're not getting the points, the rebounds, assists, the double doubles, the triple doubles. They're not doing all that. So those are less valuable. So a guy like Anthony Edwards, who would be probably a top 10 player in the NBA, isn't even close to a top 10 fantasy player. Not even close. Because he takes too many shots. He doesn't grab the rebounds and assists like, say, like a guy like Luka or like a Zubac. Ivica Zubac was a top 10 fantasy player last year, which is he was close. He was borderline. I don't remember exactly, but I'm actually gonna check right now. But Zubac, he's probably not a top 25 player in the NBA, but in fantasy, he grabs 13, 14 rebounds a game. He puts up 14 points a game. He doesn't take too many shots. He blocks shots. He gets those simple points without taking too many shots. He's a highly efficient people are what you want to draft. So, I mean, hey, it's kind of different. You got to be more smart with it. Like some people don't know that Zubac. If someone took Zubac in the second round, it's not crazy. But some people wouldn't understand that it's not crazy because they haven't played in this league. I think we got like 5 new people in the league, so it's just I'm wondering like Zubac was a better player than Cade Cunningham, Kevin Durant, Zion, Damian Lillard, Vucevic, Sengun, James Harden, Evan Mobley, Joel Embiid, Trae Young. He averaged more points per game than all of them, and he played almost every single game. So it's like those are the guys you want to look out for, like the centers, like Karl Anthony Towns. I'll go down the scoring list. So Jokic averaged 45 points. Giannis averaged 38 points. Shea averaged 33. Sabonis averaged 33. AD averaged 32. Cat averaged 32. Wemby averaged 31, even though he missed the second half of the season. Wemby is a good pick, and he's only getting better, to be honest. Luka averaged 30, 30.7. LeBron averaged 30. Jason Tatum averaged 28. And then Zubac is right after them. Like all the elite company of guys, the guys who grab rebounds, the guys who score, the number one options on the best teams, the best players in the league. And then it's Zubac. You would never expect it. Jalen Johnson averaged 26 points. Vucevic averaged 26. Like you wouldn't think a guy like Vucevic, who Chicago fans have been wanting to trade for the last 3 years, is one of the better fantasy players. Like they don't like him. He's not a good player probably in real life. He can't play defense. He's a liability, but that doesn't matter in fantasy basketball. That's why fantasy basketball is like you kind of got to get used to it. You can't just draft players who you can't draft a guy like Anthony Edwards, a guy like Steph Curry over a guy like Bam or Josh Hart. Josh Hart averaged 24.8 points. Steph Curry averaged 23.8. Obviously, it's going to be different. Everything's not going to. Josh Hart averaged more fantasy points than Jalen Brunson. They played on the same team. Not a single Knicks fan will tell you that Josh Hart was better than Jalen Brunson. It's just how fantasy basketball works. That's why I'm like the new players are not going to understand that. They're just going to see it and think it's crazy. But I need to understand that it's going to be different this year because a lot of guards are going to go early. The shooting guard position is actually so bad this year in terms of fantasy. Even last year, it wasn't too good. Like this, oh wow, there's a lot of. Also, the flex positions, like the guys you can put at every position, because you can only start. You can start 3 guards, but you only have 3 flex spots. No, yeah, 3 flex spots where you can put any player. Centers, you can only have 4 on the team. Centers are the best position in the league. You need those. They're the most consistent guys, the guys who don't take too many shots, the guys that grab rebounds. Like a guy like you wouldn't even expect Like Mark Williams averaged 24 points last year. Jalen Duren, Jakob Poeltl, 22. Daniel Gafford, 22. Walker Kessler, 21. DeAndre Ayton, 21. It's Isaiah Hartenstein for the first 2 months when he came back, averaged 25 points. It's a high floor. The highest floor are the center position, the guys, the big men. So my strategy the last couple of years have been just get the high value centers, like the premium centers. The last couple of years I've had last year I had Joel Embiid, I had AD, I had Mark Williams, I had Jalen Duren. All of them averaged more than 23 points. That floor of having 4 players average 23 points. It was a 10-man last year, so it wasn't too crazy. 4 players averaging 23 points guaranteed because they're centers. That's what you need. But they do take up their most valuable position of the flex. So that's why the guards are valuable, but they're not, because you're going to have to start a shooting guard. So you're going to have to draft one. They're not going to be too good because they're shooting guards. So taking a high premium shooting guard is probably what's best for you. But this year, I feel like there's not too many. So a lot of players are going to be starting. A lot of teams are going to be starting some pretty mid shooting guards. And it's all relative to fantasy. I'm not talking about they're mid players. Donovan Mitchell is mid as a fantasy player. He takes too many shots. He doesn't grab any rebounds. Averages 5 assists. That's just a mid fantasy player. He takes 25 shots a game. That's he's bound to miss. He's bound to just lose you fantasy points. He's not going to be too good. There was one year he averaged 26. The first year with the Cavs, that was more when Darius Garland was out and he was taking more of the point guard role. That's why you also got to understand, players get hurt. They take over roles. Devin Booker is probably going to play point guard this year. He's going to get more assists. Played point guard last year. Then you got to just adapt to it. Amen Thompson, he's probably going to be elite. Fred VanVleet's out. They have Reed Shepard as their point guard. I don't know if they really trust him yet. So who's going to get the playmaking roles? Probably Amen Thompson. Probably the wings are going to get more playmaking roles. You got to go with the times. Rudy Gobert, he was elite with Cat. Cat was more of a scoring big. And then Cat gets traded for Julius Randle. Julius Randle is different from Cat. So Rudy Gobert gets worse because he's not scoring at the same level of catching lobs and all this, but he's also not grabbing as many rebounds because Julius Randle is taking a chunk of that. It's all situational. Even with fantasy football, everything is situational. So, obviously, Steph Curry is a top 10 player in real life. He's not a top 10 player in fantasy because it's situational. He takes too many shots. His team relies on him to take more shots. He's not the main playmaker because he doesn't have to be because he's so good off ball. But when you're off ball in fantasy basketball, you're not touching. The more volume, the better. The guy but it's weird how it works. The more volume, the better. But it also comes with skill. Luka is a high volume player, but if Luka was just chucking up shots and not getting the playmaking roles and grabbing rebounds like he was, he wouldn't be that good. He's just that guy who's just doing everything for his team. For the Mavericks, he was. The Lakers is probably either is going to step down or is going to step up. Who knows? A guy like Tyrese Halliburton last year was complete garbage in the regular, complete garbage. He averaged. Let me scroll down to find out how many she averaged. My bad. Give me a second. Tyrese Halliburton. Wow. Oh, he averaged 25 points. I thought it was to start the season. He was off a lot worse. He obviously had a hot end to the season, as we all know. But wow, it's kind of crazy. Your perception on things changes when you actually look back at it. During the season, Tyrese Halliburton, it didn't feel like he was a first round pick because the year before he had that hot start to the season where he averaged 30 points for fantasy. He was crazy. He was scoring at a high level. He had his 11 assists per game leading the league. It's crazy how your perception changed because he averaged 25 points. It felt like he was averaging 20 the whole season. But also when players are on teams that aren't doing so good and you're not seeing them, they're not winning, you just kind of devalue them. Giannis was on a team that was 5? He had 5 wins. Giannis is the second best player, and it wasn't close. But we didn't view him as a second best. Some people didn't view him as a second best player because he wasn't on a winning team. So it all comes down to the team. Jokic is, to be honest, Jokic is the clear best player, and it's never gonna change because Jokic has the last 5 years, probably gonna go on 6, has been averaging 40 points. Last year, he averaged 45 points per game. Every night you start Jokic, he's gonna have 45 plus points. That's just insane. So there's obviously like for a 12-team league, you have so many roster spots. But my God, like the first pick compared to the 12th pick is gonna be crazy. Like you go from the first pick has Jokic to like the 12th pick is gonna have what? Cade Cunningham, like Zion, maybe like James Harden. So it's like it's hard to just like value that, but a good player, a good drafter is gonna be smart with it and make it work, makes it work what it has to be worked with. But I think we're gonna call it because it's a little dry. Basketball is a little dry. I have to talk about my fantasy basketball team that I haven't even drafted yet. The draft's on the 19th, like 2 days before the season starts. But it was good to talk about basketball. I've been talking about basketball in a while. I've been more into football recently and baseball too. But baseball is starting the playoffs, but I don't want to talk about it too much. For football tonight, Seahawks, Cardinals. Seahawks are gonna win, but Trey Benson's gonna have 25 fantasy points, and I'm gonna have a happy night. But thank you guys for watching. We'll be more consistent. I will be back next Thursday. I hope you guys have a great day. I love you guys.